Okay, so apparently an African man, I believe Nigerian, is marrying a white woman, and this is how their wedding ended up looking. So let's get into this. Let's get us an honest, unbiased talk, because of course, clearly, if you marry somebody and clearly y'all have a wedding ceremony, then of course you would have your wedding with your traditional whatever, and I mean the person who you're marrying would participate in those things. Now, in a perfect world, the person who you're marrying would be of the same background as you, so they wouldn't look completely crazy. But I mean, of course, sometimes we end up marrying people. Well, y'all, not me, but sometimes y'all end up marrying people who are of different backgrounds. Couldn't be me, but I mean, yeah, y'all. And you end up with these weddings where people who are not of background XYZ participate in XYZ's culture. And I mean, it deserves a little bit of a talk. Now, to my surprise, the Africans were in the comments on code. I was very taken aback by this because I was expecting to look at the comments and they be there like, oh, those black Americans would be mad at this, but we Africans love when people partake in our culture. Normally they be on some dumb shit. But they honestly weren't. For the most part, like, they were like, what is this? Like, somebody commented like, where is Dr. Umar? People was commenting like, I see my people, but I don't hear my people. Somebody commented like, it's like we never learn from history, right? Most of them, I would say 95% of the comments were on code. Now, 5% of the comments, of course, was some goofballs. That's to be expected. You get that under Black American videos about stuff like this too, right? Like, somebody commented, why is everyone hating? Hating on what? A bunch of offbeat white bitches? Like, what are you saying? But whatever, right? Let me get into this with my honest opinion, okay? Like I said, of course, when you marry somebody, y'all have your marriage ceremony. Of course, I mean, you're going to have your traditional ceremony and do whatever stuff you normally do, regardless of what background your significant other is from, and you're going to invite them to participate in your culture, because bottom line, end of the day, you marrying this person. So to some degree, they're going to become part of your culture and you're going to become part of their culture. That's duh, clearly, come on, right? But at the same time, we do got to be aware of like who we marrying and like what's really going on, because let me just explain what I mean. I'ma speak for people who are black racially, period. Now, the term black causes a lot of confusion because sometimes it is used interchangeably with the ethnicity African American, those of us descended from transatlantic slavery in the United States of America. But then sometimes it's used as just a racial categorization. That means anybody descended from sub-Saharan West Africa. Okay, so I'm going to speak of people who are black racially, not necessarily black ethnically, right? So anybody who's descended from sub-Saharan Africa, okay? As black people, in fact, I just saw a video earlier that was about South Africa. And when I tell you, I was just like, yo, what? Because like there's this trend on TikTok where people are like, what ethnicity are you? And then they respond to that question with pictures, of whatever. So as an African American, I might post pictures of like the civil rights movement or something, things that are African American, right? So a South African had done this trend, right? And I don't think I saved it. But it was like, what ethnicity are you? And they responded with a bunch of pictures of apartheid, right? And, like the first pictures were stuff that was similar to Jim Crow, right? It was like, oh, whites only, and then non-whites, like water fountains and stuff, right? And then, like, there was a picture that said, beware of the native inhabitants, right? And a picture of a black South African standing outside of the sign, right? And that sign just made me think, like, what the fuck? Like, how do you come to somebody else's country and then be talking about, oh, beware of the natives? Take your ass back to the Netherlands if you really that fucking scared of the natives. Like when I tell you what these people do to black people worldwide, because, again, I'm not talking about black Americans. I'm talking about worldwide. What these people have done to us is demonic. It's like, I'm tearing up, y'all. Like, it would be bad enough if, apartheid had happened in Europe. Like, if Africans had gone to Europe and Europeans were like, oh, we're going to subjugate you here and yada, 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 right? But no, apartheid happened in South Africa. White people went to South Africa looking for trouble, literally. Got there and was like, yeah, we about to start some shit. It's just like that adds a whole other just diabolical fucked up layer to it. Excuse my language, but like I be trying to cuss less, but sometimes a cuss word is the only thing that'll sum up the intensity of what you are attempting to convey, right? It's like you went to somebody else's country and you got signs posted up talking about beware of the natives of this country. Are you kidding me? Like, do you know, like, when I saw that, I just was like, yo, what? And I'm talking about this because I mean, you know, this video that I'm initially responding to with the wedding was Nigerians and I'm African American, and you know, the South African video was South Africa, right? So it may seem all like, you know, none of this has anything to do with each other, right? But it's all so connected. I'm talking about the subjugation that black people everywhere have received at the hands of these people. And I would like to go back to one of the comments that somebody left under the wedding video when they said, like, it's like we don't learn from our history at all. You all have been subjugated by these people for hundreds of years. And you telling me you still marrying them? Like, what? Now, I attempt to be a just flower. Y'all know that I'm always trying to be an unbiased and fair tower, right? So I say all the time, okay, let's say that not all interracial relationships are the product of self-hating black people. Because, I mean, let's be fair, most of them are. Most of the time, it's black people like, I hate my blackness. Let me seek out a non-black person and have some non-black children, right? But again, I say, okay, let me be fair and say not 100% of those interracial relationships. It got to be one somewhere where it was just like, okay, two people happen to come across each other and fall in love. Okay, let's pretend that's what happened here. Let's pretend that is what happened here. Okay. Still, let's say you just happened across this person, you fell in love, y'all got married. Still, how can you dress the colonizers up in your traditional wear that they demonized? They came to your country, told you couldn't speak your traditional languages, told you couldn't wear your traditional clothes, and now in 2024, your ass is shucking and jiving with white bitches in the motherfucker, what's some thing called geles or something? Are you kidding me? And never did it cross your mind that you gotta be out of your motherfucking mind. Like, that never crossed your spirit at any point. Now, again, let me attempt to be fair. Say you just happen to fall in love with this person and get married. Something about this just seems so fucking disrespectful to me personally as an African American. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, say it with me, African Americans are descended from transatlantic slavery in the United States of America. If you ain't that, then you ain't African American, okay? Now, this is my thing. Clearly, if you look at me genetically, I'm West African, right? Clearly, right? But I never called myself African. Now, take a second to think about why that may be. Now, a lot of you are going to jump to the bum-ass conclusion, oh, you're Afrophobic. You look down on Africans. You're embarrassed that your ancestors were from Africa. Bitch, try again. Take another guess, right? The reason that I do not call myself African, even though I'll sit here and tell you, oh, clearly genetically, I'm West African, right? I will never sit here and say, oh, I'm an African person, right? It's because my people have been so far removed from Africa for so long, I feel no connection to Africa. Like, when I look at like things about Africa, I don't feel like those are my people or that is my history or anything like that. When I look at things about Black Americans, then I feel some connection to it. But when I look at stuff about Africa, I literally feel no connection at all, right? And that is because white people went to Africa. They went to your hoods, right? They snatched your peoples up. They took them all over to wherever, what became the United States, the Caribbean, whatever, right? And they made it illegal for them to speak their African languages, to wear their African clothes, to whatever, right? They made it illegal for hundreds of years until we got to the point where there are people like myself who clearly are genetically African but don't even identify as African because of what these people did to us. And you telling me yo goofy ass just sat there and was like, oh yeah, let me have a white bitch dress up in some motherfucking Nigerian, what is some things called, the geles or whatever they call them, and be shucking and jiving the Cotton-Eyed Joe and acting like it's Afrobeat. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas? I'm sorry, like, it's just, what is going on, bro? I be trying to be fair, bro. I try to put myself in other people's shoes. Like, let me imagine. Now, y'all know good and well, one thing about me, you will never catch me married to no caveman. It's not happening. But let's pretend that, you know, like, I got struck by a bolt of lightning And then I had to go to the hospital and I had to get an organ transplant, right? And you know how sometimes when people get organ transplants, they wake up and they have different personality traits. Like they take on the traits of the person who originally had that organ. Like they'll wake up speaking another language or something, right? Let's pretend that happened. And I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm not opposed to interracial marriage for myself. I'm going to marry a white man, right? I put myself in other people's shoes all the time. If I was about to get married to a white man, that'll be bad enough. I'd be like, that's all I can do. There's no way I'm about to dress you up in Black American culture that your people demonized for centuries and centuries and centuries. There's no way. There's no way as an African you can sit there and dress up white people in African garbs when those same people went to your hood, snatched your peoples up, told y'all couldn't speak your languages, y'all couldn't wear your clothes and shit. There are groups of Black people to this day that have been so far removed from Africa because of what white people did. I don't wear a gele to this day. I'm not speaking no Ubegwe talk to this day because of what white people did to your people. And you sitting here telling me that your brightest idea is, golly gee, let me dress this white bitch up in some African garb. Like, bro, what? Y'all out of y'all minds, bro. Y'all are out of y'all minds. There is literally no way. There's no way that this is the best y'all could come up with. And I weep for my people, bro. There is no way Black people worldwide are this mentally subjugated. I refuse to believe, like, when I see stuff like this, I'm like, this gotta be a simulation, because there's no way that white people did a number on y'all to this degree.